by the Clown Cafe, your favorite meals on wheels. The menu is disgusting and it's full of
boy,
special
oh
deals.
boy.
Nothing here
Today
is
is
good
a
for
great
you, so grab
day for
yourself today.
Terrifier news. Hello, welcome Slashers, Nightgripped here, and welcome back to my channel. Now for today's video, Terrifier 3. That is right, we have new Terrifier news coming from the article site Variety. This article, man, we got some juicy deeds. I cannot wait to get into it. So that said, let's get into it. Cineverse Corp announced that it has secured North American rights to slasher sequel Terrifier 3 from series writer and director Damien Leone and producer Phil Falcone. The film is scheduled to have a wide theatrical release next year in North America, followed by its exclusive debut on Cineverse's streaming service Screambox. Starting off pretty good already, Terrifier 3 is confirmed to come to theaters again, and that's super exciting considering they made Terrifier 3 with a budget under $250,000 and they made $15 million at the worldwide box office. But I digress. CEO Chris McGurk said in a statement, "We are thrilled that Damien and Phil have chosen to stay true to the franchise and keep the film uncut and independent versus going the studio route. We aim to make this film the centerpiece of our releasing strategy, which is focused on creator-friendly collaboration to generate fan-favorite franchises and remakes that work theatrically and drive streaming subscription revenues. This time, we are planning a wide theatrical release for Terrifier 3, as we are confident that the film will deliver yet another unparalleled horror experience. We eagerly anticipate the creative vision that Damien Leone and Phil Falcone will unleash upon audiences when we bring Terrifier 3 to the big screen in the fall of 2024. Confirmed for a fall 2024 release, Terrifier 3 to the big screen, and I cannot wait. This is gonna be sick, and I know that Damien Leone and the Terrifier crew will absolutely kill it, and they will bring their all, and I expect nothing less from Damien Leone and his crew to deliver a worthwhile Terrifier 2 follow-up. The rights agreement was negotiated by Brandon Hill, Director of Acquisitions, on behalf of Cineverse, and by Priscilla Ross Smith of The Coven on behalf of the filmmakers. Leone is currently represented by WME. Ahead of the announcement, Leone spoke with Variety about the third chapter. How will Terrifier 3 build off of Terrifier 2? Once I figured out what part 2 was, I knew it was gonna be at least a trilogy, so I've been working on this since I completed part 2. Even while I was writing part 2, I actually had scenes that I'd already written for part 3 because I knew where it was gonna go. I want to shift back a bit to the tone of part 1, which I felt was a little more simplistic and old school, gritty slasher. I want this one to go back in that direction, and I want this to be the scariest one of the trilogy. This one will actually have a little bit more of an evil overtone to it, so this is gonna be hopefully the scariest and the darkest. I want it to feel as if the audience coming into this one isn't as comfortable with Art the Clown as they feel they are now. I want to see if I can make them really scared of him again. Given the notoriety of the gore of the second film, do you feel pressured to top yourself in Terrifier 3? Always. There's sleepless nights sometimes where, oh my god, I can't let the fans of this franchise down. They always come to expect the next big kill scene, the next big gory set piece. How am I gonna top the now infamous hacksaw scene in part 1? And now the second movie, I get asked at the conventions, how are you gonna top the bedroom scene? I always want to swing for the fences and try and see if I could outdo myself from the previous installment. There was actually a kill that I was going to put in Terrifier 1 that happened to Jenna Kennel's character Tara. After the hacksaw scene, it was another torture scene. I knew putting those back to back was going to completely lose the audience because it would be way too much to handle. So that was a kill that I kept on the back burner. I didn't even put it in Terrifier 2. So that's one I may explore. But there's another one I thought of about a month ago, where it clicked and I said, that's going to be the next bedroom kill scene, so you'll know when you see it. I can't say for sure I'll even top any of these scenes. It's always going to be subjective, but you will know it when you see it. And lastly, has there been any constructive criticism you've taken away from fan reactions to Terrifier 2 that you're keeping in mind for Terrifier 3? I wanted part 2 to have a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors vibe to it. That was my tone in the back of my head. And I knew I was really going to embrace this supernatural and fantasy element. I also knew I was going to alienate a handful of fans going that route. I personally love it. There's a lot of people who didn't love the fantasy, or at least they need more explanation as to why that's all happening. I didn't want to explain everything in part 2, so I'm going to explain as we go. But the biggest mistake I could do now is double down on the fantasy aspect. That's why I want to course correct a bit. Let's go back to Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 1, as opposed to going further into Dream Warriors. That could be very helpful criticism and help me make a better movie moving forward, but we'll see. So let's talk about it. So, Terrifier 3 confirmed for theaters. That's super exciting. I absolutely cannot wait to see it, Terrifier 3 on the big screen, because Terrifier 2 on the big screen, that was something special, and I really appreciated getting to see that on the big screen. Something that I really liked about Terrifier 2 is parts of it had kind of like a vibe like, you know when you're younger, right? And when you're watching a movie you're not supposed to, you have this like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't be watching this. Though, don't get me wrong, I'm not bothered really by the gore in Terrifier 3 at all. I just like how it gives off that uncomfortable vibe sometimes because it feels like you're watching something forbidden. And that's what I really liked about Terrifier 2, and I hope that Terrifier 3 could pull that vibe off, and more some. And I think that they can. I believe in Damien Leone and the Terrifier crew. I know that they will kill this. I mean, hell, there's a lot of directions that they could go in for Terrifier 3, but it's great that they're staying true to what they're known for. They're not gonna back down or dumb down the movie. That's always a major plus for me. I am excited to see what major kill scene that they're talking about that wasn't in Terrifier 1. I can only imagine that he says something about, he came up with something like a month ago that he is probably going to make the next big kill scene, so I cannot wait. Though he says that he wants to make Terrifier 3 a more simplistic movie compared to the second one, and he wants to make it more simple like the first one, I still want them to explain the fantasy elements of Terrifier 2 because there are still people that are a little confused about it, and I tried to explain it the best I could in my theory videos. By the way, check those out. I'll try to remember the leave link down screen below. I still want an explanation on what exactly is going on and to understand why they added all that in there. I think it's cool. I like that fantasy stuff in there because I feel like it sets it apart from other films, and so I really liked it, but I understand some people weren't really vibing with it. I thought it was cool though. The film is gonna start off where Terrifier 2 left off, so I cannot wait to see where they go from there. I'm sure that the beginning's gonna be fucking crazy though. I don't expect anything less from them at all. But I'm overall super excited. This is gonna be sick, and I'm happy that I'll get to experience this film on the big screen because watching Terrifier 2 on the big screen was phenomenal. It was just a big moment for me. I had to go out of town to see that one on the big screen, but I didn't mind. I'm just hoping that one day I'll get to meet Damien Leone, David Howard Thornton, all of them. I'm sure that I will, but I overall, yeah, I want to meet them one day because they seem like cool people. But you know what? That's all for this video. Before I go, they're also working on a movie called Stream, it reminds me a little bit of the Manhunt series with what they're doing with that one, but pretty much just made by the same people who did Terrifier, and I'm super excited for that one too. It's looking like it's gonna be pretty sick. That one's coming out this year, I think. But that'll be all for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure you like, subscribe for more content, and definitely subscribe to become a Squasher. All social media links in my merch. Description below. Thank you guys so much for watching me cover Terrifier 3. But, you know, I'm out here, and I'll catch you all next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before I dance off screen, don't forget, y'all, to keep on swashing.
Food's a little funny. Food's